Hi, lovelies! Today we're going to be talking about self-love. Self-love is so important when it comes to mental health and depression and anxiety. And today I want to dive in and give you some tips to really focus on your self-love journey. For me, it was crucial when it came to my own mental health, and throughout the videos that I'm going to do, there's going to be a lot of self-love tools, and even from what I've already done, there are tools that would really help with your self-love journey. But today we're going to really pinpoint some great tools for you to start if you haven't started on your self-love journey, or things you might have not thought about on your self-love journey, things to really lift you up and help you with your mental health. And it was crucial for me on when I was struggling with my own mental health, how powerful the self-love journey can be. And that's why today we're going to be going in and diving deep into some tools for you to carry out. So if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that notification bell, and follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, and let's get right into it. Tip 1 is all about developing a relationship with yourself if you haven't already, or cultivating a relationship with yourself and really identifying what relationship you have with yourself already. Is it healthy? Is it unhealthy? From 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. Do you think you have a good relationship with yourself? Do you think it's a healthy relationship with yourself? Write in the comments down below. What do you think is the realistic number that you can give when it comes to the relationship with yourself, and how good and how healthy and how balanced it is? Can you truly say that you love yourself unconditionally, that you trust yourself 100%, that you are loving to yourself? Are you kind? Are you compassionate with yourself? Are you caring towards yourself? When you spend time alone, do you enjoy spending that time alone? Do you enjoy your own company? Can you see yourself as your own best friend? Or do you crave more attention when you get attention from others? Is there an emptiness that you have inside that you keep craving for more? Do you focus on giving yourself joy or finding joy to bring you happiness and to lift your spirits? Do you show yourself love, or do you find ways to give yourself love? These are all important questions to be asking yourself, and to be really identifying what stage you're at on your self-love journey. And if you think, well, yeah, maybe I do need some work on getting to a better stage with a relationship with yourself. A lot of the time, we can focus on self-care and what we're doing physically for our body, physically when it comes to if you're going for treatments or any type of self-care routine that you're taking. If you're taking care of your skin, if you're, things like that. It's so, self-love is so much more than just that, though. We get stuck on the physical, but we forget about the mental. If we're not treating ourselves right, if we're not doing things to show ourselves love, if we're not saying things that will show ourselves love, it will impact us, and it's not as self-loving as you think you might be towards yourself. The self-care is very important, but a lot of the time when it comes to self-love, we forget about the mental. The amount of times like people will say, oh yeah, I'm really, I do love myself, I'm really like, I take care of myself, but then I can see patterns that show me otherwise, because they're not taking care of themselves mentally. They're saying harsh things to themselves. They're saying unloving things to themselves. They have a major um, battle with their self-criticism, with their inner critic. And instead of developing a relationship with themselves, they're focused on other people and other things. It's so easy to get caught up on who loves me, who cares for me, but are you looking towards yourself? Are you actually saying, do I love myself? Do I care for myself? Am I actually doing things that are loving towards me? Am I actually treating myself with respect, with kindness, with compassion, with understanding? Or am I criticizing myself? Am I judging myself? Am I pushing myself down? Am I always at myself? Those are some important things to identify, and to understand that you can have a healthy, good relationship with yourself if you're willing to work on the relationship with yourself. A lot of the time, we're so focused on what we can do. Like, there's so many people that are so focused on what they can do physically for themselves that they're not focused on the mental, and vice versa. So it's about really creating a balance with yourself, with what you're doing, and creating a loving environment and surrounding and within and outside of yourself. But a lot of the time, the surroundings with outside of you is showing what's within you and what's going on within you and what needs to be worked on. If you keep avoiding that, you're always going to attract things and people and situations that aren't loving, that aren't caring, that aren't fulfilling, and they're going to keep you stuck and frustrated and unhappy and feeling unloved. So it's time to decide that you're going to do the work. A lot of the time when it comes to the mental and it comes to working with yourself, people can run away from that because they don't want to face what's going on within them. But the only way you're going to transform your life and actually have a different life is for you to work through the things you need to and then take the steps accordingly. And one of the ways you can develop and cultivate a relationship with yourself, one of the first important steps to take is actually taking time alone. I've said this in a previous video about one of the tips for something else, but this is also important for developing a relationship with yourself. So it's important to take time alone, even if it's for 5 minutes a day, and developing that and actually spending time with yourself, not on the phone, not doing something else, not doing a task, literally spending time with yourself. Whether you want to journal, whether you want to meditate, whatever you want to do, but make it about you and yourself. if you want to express yourself with your relationship through art, whether you want to write it down, whether you want to talk to different parts of yourself, whether you want to meditate and see what comes up, it's all up to you. But it's about not being distracted by tasks, by your environment, by your phone, by your laptop, by any technology, and just being with yourself. And actually, if you don't know who you are, get to know who you are. Or if you want to know how to love yourself more, get to know how to do that within yourself. Or what parts that you've been neglecting that you might need to talk to. Maybe even like your child self. Maybe you've been neglecting your child self. Maybe this is not an opportunity to talk to your child self. Maybe it's an opportunity to talk to another aspect that you've been harsh on that you need to talk to and find a solution with. There's so many different things that you can talk to yourself about to start and develop a relationship with yourself, but it's about actually doing it. I can sit here and tell you all of the things, but at the end of the day, you need to be willing to actually work on doing this. And even if it's for a couple of minutes a day, you have a couple of minutes to actually do that. Tip 2 is all about getting to know yourself again. It goes hand in hand with the first tip. So it's about figuring out what likes do you have about yourself? What do you love about yourself? What do you feel that you're struggling with that you might need to improve on within yourself? What are your dislikes and likes about life? What are your desires? What do you enjoy? What do you want now? And what do you want in the future? It's important to identify who you are now and who you're working towards in the future. Because at the end of the day, the person you're working towards in the future is already within you. You just need to realize it within yourself. And it's important to realize that and work on accepting yourself as well for who you are now, because that's a very big step in your self-love journey. So the first step really on getting to an acceptance is to really actually see who you are right now and what areas and or what parts of yourself that you're struggling with in order to fully represent who you want to be now. Acceptance is so important, and your mind can play tricks on you, and your inner critic can come out, and you can not like certain parts of yourself, and you could reject them, and you could blame them, and you could question them, and you could resent them, but you're not going to fully love yourself unconditionally if you don't actually work towards accepting the parts of you that you judge and that you criticize and that you completely reject. And I know it's hard to do, but that is going to be taken in baby steps. It doesn't have to be overnight, and don't think it's going to happen overnight. You can't just say it and think, yeah, I love that part of me now, because that's not going to happen. Unless you truly work on it, unless you truly see where that's coming from, unless you even maybe do belief work on where that's coming from as well. A lot of the time it could be from a perspective of a person we see that we don't like, and having that part might represent us totally rejecting that. Or there's things that might make us weak and we don't like that part of ourselves. There's so many different things that we could say that's bad or negative about ourselves, but at the end of the day, we're just not seeing it in the right light. We're not seeing it for how that part of us or who that part of us really is. And it's about really working on moving more towards acceptance, towards forgiveness on those parts, because those parts are us. It's within us. It's parts that deserve to be loved and nurtured. Every single part of us deserves to be loved and nurtured. And it's about being willing to find ways to move towards acceptance. For me, for example, I had a part of myself that I rejected for years, that I allowed to control me, I allowed to step out of line, and that have come out on occasions that I don't regret, but I totally accept my actions for. And that was the fiery side of me. And that side of me, that part of me, I saw in someone else that hurt me. And instead of dealing with it, I completely rejected it and I pushed it down. And when anyone would see that or would recognize it or would find out because of my almost explosiveness at certain points, I would feel ashamed. I would feel regretful in the past, which I've worked on. But I don't regret anymore because it was a learning experience for me. And it taught me that there were just parts of me that wanted to be heard and expressed, but instead my fiery side wanted to protect me and fight for me when my other sides couldn't. And I realized that because I wasn't using my fiery side in good and healthy ways, that was causing me to reject it. What I realized is my fiery side is actually what gives me the drive, what gives me passion, what gives me strength to help you guys to move forward, to really do the work to move towards my dreams. And when I put my fiery side in the right area and used it for good and used it for healthy, in a healthy way, I realized I could actually move towards acceptance and move towards that, yes, this is me, and and I can use this part of me in a profound way, and that helps me to forgive my fiery side and forgive the past, and move towards acceptance and realize that I have become better for this, and to love that side and nurture that side rather than resenting it and judging it and questioning it. And this was a journey that I had to take. And it's important for you to find out what that might be for you. It's so easy to think of different parts of you and be negative towards them. Maybe, for example, you dislike laziness. You dislike it within yourself, you dislike it within other people. Well, then how can you shift that? Maybe the laziness is coming from the aspect of you're connecting laziness with relaxation and rest, and realizing that you deserve to rest and relax. But then shifting that to, okay, I'm going to do this and this and this and this before I relax, so I so my lazy side can come out, because you'll feel like, okay, I deserve to be lazy now, I've done all of this. Or changing the belief around being lazy and resting and relaxing, and realizing that actually I'm just resting and relaxing, I'm not being lazy. It's about really working within yourself to talk with different parts of yourself, to become aware and find win-win solutions, so that you can move more towards acceptance and less towards rejecting and judging and criticizing. You could have two different teams within yourself that don't work together, but that needs to be worked out within yourself, and having a conversation within yourself, different parts of yourself, to find out how those parts can be more accepting towards others, and what things that each part of yourself can do to improve that relationship. Whether it's, okay, you feel that you have to be perfect all the time, but there's another side of you that wants to have a break. So maybe you want to make a solution about when you want to have a break and when you want to take the perfectionist part of you out. Or maybe there's a part of you that's serious and part of you that's funny. It's about really working with each other to find what works within you, and accepting those parts and working towards that. And the major thing I learned about accepting different parts of myself is realizing that I'm human and I'm bound to make mistakes, and that I can shift how different parts are seen and how different parts act, and how I can use different parts within me as an advantage rather than as something that controls me. And that can be very helpful for you. So think about it, maybe comment below what parts you think that you need to work on. So that's it for now. I hope that you had some realizations yourself. I hope you go over things that I've said and think about them in your own life and how you can contribute that into your own life. And I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please share it with anyone that you think that might benefit from it. And if you haven't already, comment below to say whether you've enjoyed it or it's been helpful for you, or any other suggestions of any other videos you think that you need and that you think would benefit you in your life. And if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that notification bell. And I will see you next week. We're going to be going over more tools in your self-love journey and more practical tools of what you can do to really help you feel more self-love and really guide you on your self-love journey. So I hope to see you in part 2 next week, and I'll leave you now, and I hope you have a great day. Love you lots. Remember, you're never alone. Sending you all lots of unconditional love and healing energy. Mwah.